Welcome back to Keen Plays. Today we're going to be looking at the Oregon Trail, but not this one. No, today I want to show you guys the board game. I found this at Value Village a couple weeks ago, which was a crazy coincidence because, I've been doing those videos on the Oregon Trail video game. And so, yeah, this popping up, I was like, oh my gosh. Like I just gotta buy it. And I didn't even really look up anything at the time. I was just like, I don't know, Oregon Trail, like big box game. I'm sure it'll be fine. And then I got home and I looked it up on Board Game Geek, and it only has a 5.7 out of 10 rating, so not very good. There's lots of other games that I've seen with, that low of a rating that I just pass on because don't know if it's worth the few bucks I would spend on it. But yeah, I was kind of intrigued why it's so low. It's only got, under 280 ratings. I'm going through the comments on it, and a couple guys on there have some really strong opinions on this game. Is this Hot Rod Jimmy? This game is atrocious. And the reason I rated it a 1 is that it is fundamentally broken, and you can easily win the game despite never making it anywhere to Oregon. You can buy goods from a town and sell them back to that same town in the same turn for more money than you paid for it in the same turn. This is absolute trash. And then John Rogers, he also rates it a 1 and says, defies description of game. 0 decisions. It's a total blind luck fest. And the logic in the game is all over the place. A magic compass that finds specific animals and guarantees you kill them. You go to places and buy low and spend an action to turn around and sell them high. Winning is based on most money, which is based on the tile draws, which is all luck. Bad. Straight up bad. Did I get like a piece of junk or what? And even this Sudoku or whatever says every component felt half-baked. Rules left a lot of questions, interpretation. Can buy an item and sell the item in the same turn for profit. Wagon upgrades didn't have much value. Was never able to obtain enough items to use extra wagons. An extra ox had very little benefit. Pointless. Plus 500 points given to everyone at end of game. If everyone gets the points, why give them at all? And yeah, there was a couple of good ones on here, but majority was below a 5. Even though I was initially excited to play it, didn't seem like it was gonna turn out to be that great of a game. I looked up, the Dice Tower on YouTube, and they had a review on it. And even he was saying that, it's so full of luck. And I mean, you might nostalgically like this game, but if you're looking for a good game, it's not really here. And, like everything is random. You have the calamity cards, which are really random, and the funeral expenses don't make sense. And the hunting is also very random. Yeah, just a lot of kind of negativity surrounding the game. He also mentioned that there was another Oregon Trail game also made from Pressman. It was a card game that came out before this one. And the one good thing that he could say about the game was that it was better than the first one. And it's good for nostalgic purposes is basically what it came down to for him. So here's the game all set up. First off, you have your wagon here. It has 6 spaces for everything that you're taking along with you on your journey. This space here that is for yourself basically, and your pistol, and then you have your 4 family members and a couple extra spaces. You start off with 2 meat pieces there. I really like these pieces that show your family members. It's basically a health bar for them. Every time they take damage, you can move them down until ultimately, they die, which is the gravestone. So I really like that. And you also have these other resources here. You have pistol, medicine, compass, and meat. They are all smaller, and so when you're filling your wagon, 4 of those tiny blocks fits into one of those wagon spaces, which I think that is also a pretty neat way to do the storage in your wagon. You also, as you go, you can buy these bigger resources, which, the white is winter clothing, the silver is a shotgun, the brown is spare parts, and the orange is a hitchhiker. And they take up a whole space in your wagon. So you will definitely want to get a wagon extension, which would give you 4 extra spots on your wagon for more storage, because at the beginning of the game you're basically full with just your family members. That would also be one of my dislikes about the game. Is I just wish that they would have printed something on these larger blocks. I think that would have been quite easy to do. Just put a coat on here, a hitchhiker there, a wagon wheel, and a shotgun or a shotgun blast. It would have been really easy to do, and it would have just made it that much better. I can understand, not doing it on the smaller blocks. It'd be pretty hard to print on there. And then you also have your turn phases over here, and it gives you basically all the information you need throughout the turn. And down at the bottom is how you hunt. I think it looks good, and I like that it gives you a lot of information so you don't have to keep flipping through the rule book. The next thing is the game board itself. You create the trail with these tile pieces here. That is where some of a lot of the randomness would come from. You're picking up these tile pieces and then you have to lay them down, and so whatever you pick up is just completely random. Where you place them, though, that's strictly up to you, so there is some skill involved. You start off with 2 of these tile pieces here, and on your turn you can choose how many to play. You can just play 1 or both of them if you want. If down the line you want to buy an additional ox, then that will give you 3 tiles to choose from at the beginning of your turn. And again, you can play all of them if you want, or just 1 at a time. And that's where, the skill of tile placing comes in. Also on the game board, it gives you some information. It has the fort supplies, how much they cost, a little bit of information on the calamity cards, town supplies and how much they cost, and then your end game scoring. So yeah, as you can see on your wagon board here, your first start of turn is you discover the trail. So that is where you would play your tile pieces here. This is a fort, and then anything with this tree on it would be hunting grounds. So you can play a fort there, and if I want, I could add another tile right there. And then you would pick up tiles. You have 2 oxen to start with, so you pick up 2 tiles. There's a winter tile, which you need winter clothing to go through, or you will lose health points. And there's a river crossing. River crossings, you have to roll this number or higher to cross it. So this is a very hard river to cross. It's a 6. And then your next action or next step here is you would draw a calamity card, unless at a fort, or you've just started the game and you're at Independence. So that's also where some, kind of skill in tile placement takes effect, because if you don't want to draw a calamity card, which most of the time they are bad, just make sure that you end your turn on a fort, then you don't have to worry about picking those up at all. Also, when you lay a fort, you automatically fill it up with each one of these small pieces here. The meat obviously feeds your family. The medicine can heal one of your family members. If they're down at a 4, you can bring them back up to a 5. The compass is for hunting. that's one of their issues with the game, is it doesn't really make sense that when you're hunting, you can use this magic compass to automatically find out what the animal is and you get a instant kill. Which, yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. But it's not like it's game breaker that they have that in there. I think that they could have came up with something better than compass. That's just what it is. I don't really find an issue with it. If you can get it, then good on you. You can get an instant kill when you're going hunting. So, and then your pistol also helps you hunt. When you're hunting, you use your pistol and you can place it on a number. And then when you flip over one of these cards, oh, that's actually hilarious. I didn't plan that. But if you flip over the number that you place this on, then you kill it. So in this case, I would receive 2 extra meats for killing that rabbit, as long as I have the space in my wagon. That means that, every other, shotgun or pistol that you buy that goes into your wagon, then when you go hunting, you can use it and put it on, now I have 2 numbers covered. Or if later on I get a shotgun, you put it in between the 2 numbers, and then that counts for the 5 and the 6. So now I have 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm quite likely I'm going to get a kill. So I like that aspect of it as well. So to continue my turn, since I don't have to draw a calamity card, the next phase is taking 3 actions, and then it gives you all of the actions that you can do, and also the free actions that don't cost, that aren't part of that 3 that you do. So for your actions, you can move, hunt, buy, sell, or pick up hitchhikers. So if I was playing this game, I would probably just go along here, and I could go 1, 2, and I'm at this fort. I would probably buy another pistol and maybe a compass. And then those go into my wagon, and now I only have 1 space left in there. And so that would be 1, 2 moves. I have 1 action left, and I buy. And you can buy as many things for just 1 action if you're in that 1 space. And the one thing with these forts and towns is those are limited resources. They don't, you can't just keep buying. And so that's where that one comment, I think actually most people brought up in their comments that, the game is broken because you can buy and sell all in one turn and just continue to rack up money. That would only ever really work if there was, unending supplies that you can buy. You also can't sell at forts, so I can buy here. It doesn't mean that I can also sell there. I need to wait until a town pops up. So there's a few things that as I was playing, I realized that okay, I think some of these guys just had a bad experience and were taking out their frustration on the comment section, or or they just misread the rules, which is also likely. But yeah, they're limited resources. You can only sell at towns, and it's not as broken of a feature of the game as you would think. So to move on, then we would be at the end of the turn phase, which is resolving your calamities, feeding your family, and then refreshing market cards if you sold anything at a town. So I didn't have any calamities this turn, didn't sell anything, so I don't have to refresh the market cards, but I do have to feed my family, which is just 1 block a turn. And then it would be Red's turn, and they can play some tiles here. Here's a town. Let's go, we can go like that. And then we'll put the town right like that. The only rule to placing tiles is that you have to wait to start a new column. Yeah, you can't just start a new column until there is 2 tiles on the column before it. So yeah, you couldn't play here until there's 1 more here. These tiles don't have to match up. The trail doesn't have to match up. You can just place them however you want to. But if they do line up, then in one move you can, or in one action I should say, is you can follow the path all the way, and I can instantly get to the town in just one action. And at the town we have a hitchhiker and some spare parts. This is where you can buy your spare parts. Everything at the town costs $200. So this is where, it's supposedly broken, is you can buy these spare parts for $200. That would be my second action. And then for my third action, since I'm on a town, is I can sell those spare parts. And this is the market card here. So currently it is valued at $400. So spend $200 and then gain $400. So that's not a bad deal, but there's only the 1 spare parts. So it's not like it's completely broken. Yellow can't come along and pick up some spare parts and also do that. It's a limited quantity, and you might need those spare parts later down the road. Sure, let's put a winter tile there. And we can put a river crossing there, sure. I'm just gonna pick up maybe the medicine. Try and sell that at the next place. And then in the meantime, I'm gonna move here for my second action, and for my third action, I'm going to hunt. So I can use my 2 pistols that I picked up, and I can pick 2 numbers to put them on, or I could just use this compass here, which I might as well do. So then you get to look at this card before you choose where to put your pistols or shotguns. So now I know that it's a rabbit, so I can put that on 3, and it doesn't really matter for the other one. So I automatically get the kill, and I get 2 meat. 2 meats. I have to feed my family, and that is it. Because I didn't have to pick up a calamity card at the beginning of the turn because I was on a fort. Could place this one here. Yeah, might as well place that one there, and then I'll probably just save that for later because that's a good one. Don't want to put that down until I can pick it up myself. Need to pick up a calamity card. So here it is, starvation. Family member dies. But you can avoid this by spending 1 meat or reaching a fort this turn. So the calamity, unless it says it takes place immediately, that's where it gets resolved at the end of the turn. So that's right. Yeah, resolve remaining calamities. Or I could just spend 1 meat right now or reach a fort this turn. Well, I'm already past the fort. I don't really feel like going backwards. So I'm just going to spend the 1 meat right away, and that calamity does not happen. Which that's, something else that, was talked about in the reviews and the comments on Board Game Geek, is that, the calamities are super random and you can just die at any second. But when I noticed when I was playing that most of the time you could avoid the calamities by, reaching a town or reaching a fort, or just spend 1 meat, it's all very easy to do. It's just inconvenient. It's not like a game ender. As for red, he can continue on his turn now. I'm going to travel into the winter. In the rules, it says as soon as you go through winter tile at all, everyone, if you don't have winter clothing, automatically loses a health point. So even though there's winter clothing that I'm going to buy there, they all still go down 1 point. And then I will buy the winter clothing for $200. Now I have the winter clothing, so I can go through winter spaces, which is definitely nice. And then I have to feed my family with my last piece of meat. So I need to get hunting real bad. He's got a couple of forts here. Gotta place at least one. Yeah, you know what? I'll put this one up here. And then I need to pick up a calamity card, which is a thief. Lose one supply, small or large, supply in wagon. Player's choice. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna get rid of my medicine. And then on to my actions. Sure, I will move on to the town. And I will sell, let's see, 50 pounds of food is worth 150. A pistol is worth 300. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to sell a pistol, get some quick cash. So that was 2 actions. Take this trail back to this fort. So next turn I won't pick up a calamity card. And I can buy that meat now that I have some extra cash. I have to feed my family. And I did sell something, so we get a new market card. There it is. And then it is on to Red's turn. Red can now kind of mess up yellow by placing winter tiles in the way. Calamity, coffee, 1 extra action this turn, takes effect immediately. Well, we need to get some food. I'm going to take this trail over to here. Then I'm going to do 1 more move here for my second action. And for my third action, I'm going to spend all of my money here. $300, I'm going to get an extra pistol, some food to feed my family, and a compass for an instant kill. I will move on to this space here. So then start the next turn, I can hunt right away. Put this one over here. Just fill up some dead space. I think I will spend the 100 on that piece of food there for 1 action. I will also spend another 200 on a wagon extension. That will definitely help out down the road. For my second action, I'm going to come here, and then a free action, I can cross a river. This river is fairly easy. I just have to roll a 3 and up. So let's see, 5. Easily cross it. So then that means that for my next turn, so that was 1 moving here, free action, 2 moving here, and I can buy this medicine. Why not? I think that was a pretty good turn. And I have to feed my family, and that is the end of the turn. Now we'll put it over here. And this one can go over here or something. Anyways, I don't really want to play through a whole game right now. There's a few other things that I haven't gone through. The river crossing was, one of them that, you roll, you can get across, but you can also just decide to go through safely, because if you don't roll high enough, so on this crossing here that I needed to roll a 3 or higher, if I would have rolled a 1, then I make it across, but there would be 2 damage because the 1 is 2 less than the 3. So you'd have to pick either one person to take 2 damage or a couple people to take 1 damage each. So you can decide to safely cross by ending your turn there, and then at the start of your next turn, you would be on the other side of it. Which you'd probably, you would definitely use for the 6, unless you're really trying to, rush through, I guess. You also get damage from not having food to feed your family. If you don't have food to feed them, then each person starts starving, and they all take 1 damage. If you go through a winter tile, then each person takes 1 damage. If you're traveling, if you wanted to end up traveling a long ways along a path, even though you're moving from this here all the way over to here, you would travel technically through 2 of those winter tiles, so you'd get 2 damage for each. If you have a hitchhiker with you and you don't have winter clothing, anytime a hitchhiker takes any damage, they're instantly dead. They're just gone. Except for starvation, for whatever reason, they don't have to get fed, I guess. If you go through a river, you can choose to put damage on them or just put it on your people, and then hitchhiker stays with you. The one thing that I think could have been on the game board was this here. It shows you how many there are of each number. So kind of just, where best to put your pistol or shotgun. 3s and 4s have the most amount of animals, but they're also the least amount of meat. So I think that would be something useful to have on the game board or on your wagon board. And then along the bottom here, it shows you how much money you lose when your person dies at, various columns. Which I know doesn't exactly make sense. Back in the day, would you really, pay for someone to go and pick up a dead body that you left on the trail just to bring them to Oregon to bury? Like, probably not. But in the game context, in the board game context, it's just a consequence to someone dying along the way to Oregon. Or else there'd be really no reason to have anybody with you. I think that's the one thing that kind of bothered me a little bit about those reviews is, you're trying to make this board game make sense in, like, as if it were real life, but it's just a board game. Like, there's tons of board games that don't make any sense if it was in real life. But you have to score based on something. And so it might as well be money, because you have to start off your life in Oregon. So whoever has the most has a better life. At the end of game scoring, you add $500 for your driver. That's pointless. Everybody gets $500. That's the one thing that doesn't really need to be there. You get $100 per point of family member health. So that's also incentive to just keep your family members as healthy as possible and have as many family members as possible. You get $400 per hitchhiker, so definitely worth picking them up as long as you can keep them alive. And then you subtract $100 per column your wagon is away from Willamette Valley, which that also makes sense. The game will end either when someone reaches the finish line or when this whole board is filled up with tiles. And so then obviously if you're back here, then you don't get as much points as the person who made it the whole way. Makes sense to me. That one Hot Rod Jimmy, I don't think he was playing the game right at all. Because why would you want to stay back here? Like, unless he had endless resources that he was buying and selling. But that's the thing, is there's not endless resources, so it wouldn't make any sense for him to stay farther back and not try and finish. And then you also subtract the amount shown at the bottom of each column where you have a headstone, and that's what I was talking about, the funeral expenses. Yeah, so I don't know, I kind of just rambled on about everything all at once and kind of did a little bit of a gameplay. Um, but all of that is to say that I actually, despite all of those other reviews and comments and all of that, despite all of that, I really enjoy this game. I really like it. The people that I played with, I think that they also liked it. I didn't win. I didn't quite make it to the end. I made it. Think I was one lane back, and yeah, so I didn't win it. I don't think I had anybody die on me. There was one person that we played with that died. I mean, they didn't die, but everyone else out of their party died, and yeah, it just, I don't know if he had that great of a time, but the other two people that I played with, I think that they enjoyed it. No, I shouldn't say that I would recommend this game because it seems like most people have issues with it, but I personally don't. I actually really like the game, and it's not just for nostalgia reasons. Pretty much everyone that I played with so far hasn't even really played the video game, and I think that they enjoyed it. You know, I have played the video game, so it was, pretty cool seeing all of the calamities that can come up and that sort of thing. But I think it's just a good board game overall, even without nostalgic feelings for it. Go out, buy the game if you want, if you can find it. I don't know. I found mine at Value Village for like $7, and I was pumped, and then not as pumped when I looked up reviews and then played it, and I'm pumped again. Roller coaster of emotions. Anyways, okay, no more rambling. Thanks for joining me again, guys. Feel free to leave a like, leave a comment. If you want, you can subscribe. That would be awesome. Yeah, thanks again for watching. See ya.